Cole pinched my badge between his fingers while I was still wearing it. "You've got the wrong ribbon." The plastic sleeve tugged against my neck. Behind him, the trade show floor flashed and rattled awake. Forklifts beeping, misting heads ticking, sales reps practicing names they would forget by lunch. He peeled off the green ribbon that said Exhibit Operations and pressed a gray one beneath my name. TEMP. Our largest distributor was watching. So was Simone Alvarez from Hazel Ridge Growers, the client whose equipment, data, and money had built half the booth. Cole smiled at them. "Dana's only a temp. Family transition thing." Then he replaced my badge, patted it flat against my jacket, and ordered me away from the booth. I looked at the demonstration bay, the meeting table, and the green tape marking every approved hose route. I had built all of it, 7 months of work reduced to 4 gray letters. "All yours," I said. I let him take over the meeting. He never asked why Simone had already pulled the booth contract from her leather portfolio. I walked past the carpet edge and stopped beside a stack of empty shipping cases. My roll of green nursery tape was still looped around my wrist. Cole had always hated that tape. He called it my security blanket. I called it $12 that prevented a $12,000 mistake. Across the aisle, a misting company had built a miniature jungle under blue lights. Water drifted over broad leaves and caught in the air like smoke. A salesman in a white suit was explaining humidity to 3 men who owned more greenhouse acreage than some towns. Inside our booth, Cole took my chair. "Let's start fresh," he told the group. "There's been too much technical clutter around a fairly simple value proposition." Simone looked through the clear wall of the demonstration bay at me. I couldn't read her expression, which was one reason I liked her. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A message from Leon Price, our field supervisor. "Did he seriously put temp on you?" I typed back, "Watch the west hose." 3 dots appeared. "I'm watching it." The west hose ran beneath the graded demonstration floor carrying tinted water from the recapture tank to our new gutter assembly. At 6 that morning, Leon and I had tested the loop twice. We had marked each approved connection with green tape, photographed the pressure gauge, and initialed the demonstration card. At 7:20, Cole had arrived with coffee and a new charcoal suit. He had complimented the booth for almost 30 seconds. Then he asked why the test water was pale blue instead of clear. "So people can see the return flow," I said. "Blue looks chemical. It's food coloring. It looks toxic. It helps the buyers follow the loop." He stared at the tank. "Use clear." Simone, who had been checking the Hazel Ridge display panels, said, "Keep the blue." Cole smiled at her. "Of course. Your booth." "Our booth," she corrected. That had been the first warning. The second came when he found my name printed beneath his on the schedule board. "Dana Sutton, Join Exhibit Operations." He read it twice. "That title doesn't exist. It does here. Not in our organization. The schedule is for the booth. You're a transition applications consultant for another 72 days, so a temporary consultant." I was kneeling beside the recapture tank, trimming a strip of green tape with my pocket scissors. "If that helps you sleep." He gave a short laugh, but he didn't leave. 6 weeks earlier, when his father handed him the presidency of Sutton Shade Systems, Cole had called me into the same office his brother once used. Mark's old drafting compass still sat in the top drawer. I knew because I had put it there after the funeral and had never found a reason to touch it again. Cole had replaced Mark's battered work table with a glass desk. "I need clean lines of authority," he told me. "Then draw them." "I'm trying." He slid a folder toward me. The cover said 90-day transition in bold blue type. My existing role, Director of Field Applications, had disappeared during the restructuring. Cole said titles had become sloppy under Warren. He wasn't entirely wrong. His father had promoted people in loading bays and settled compensation over barbecue. Half our organization chart existed in memory. Cole wanted national distributors to know exactly what we sold and exactly who could promise it. He also wanted me outside the chain of command. "This protects you," he said. "From what?" "From getting trapped here because of history." He used history when he meant mark. I turned a page. It cuts my commission on co-developed accounts. Until the permanent structure is finalized, the Hazel Ridge expansion closes during this period. If it closes, it will. Cole leaned back in Mark's old office and studied me as if I were another inherited process he meant to standardize. "You're excellent in the field," he said. "Customers trust you, but you make every project personal. Plants make every project personal. They die one facility at a time. That line right there." "What line?" "You make expertise sound like ownership." I signed the transition agreement anyway. That was my mistake, but it wasn't an irrational one. Warren had asked me to give Cole a fair start. The company's health plan was in the middle of renewal. 3 commission projects were close enough to closing that walking away would have hurt Leon's installation crews more than it hurt Cole. And some humiliations arrived dressed like temporary inconveniences. 72 days, I told myself. Now 30 feet of trade show carpet separated me from a meeting I had designed. Cole passed around a glossy one-page sheet he had printed without showing me. "The heart of our national package," he said, "is consistency. One installation standard, one performance standard, one number customers can count on." The distributor's vice president, Marcy Keene, adjusted her glasses. 92% water recapture? That's our benchmark. Simone's head lifted. I felt the green tape tighten around my wrist. Hazel Ridge had achieved 92% during a controlled 6-week trial in one propagation house. The number depended on crop spacing, gutter pitch, pump timing, and the modified seals I had specified after finding mineral deposits along the return joints. Our standard package had not produced it. The number belonged to Hazel Ridge's trial, not Sutton's sales sheet. Marcy tapped the page. "Across all configurations?" "Our engineering is designed around it," Cole said. He was good at this. That was the problem. He didn't bluff like a fool. He built a clean bridge out of sturdy words and let people assume it reached the other side. Simone closed her portfolio. "Cole," I called from beyond the carpet. His shoulder moved before he turned. He had been waiting for me to interrupt. "Dana, please let us work. The 92% figure hasn't been approved for general use." He looked at Marcy with a patient expression. "This is what I meant by technical clutter." Simone said, "She's correct." A flush climbed Cole's neck, stopping neatly at his collar. "Then let me phrase it more precisely," he said. "Hazel Ridge demonstrated recovery rates as high as 92% using our core platform. With modified seals," I said. Cole faced me fully. "Are you in this meeting or not?" The gray ribbon hung beneath my name. I could feel every person in the booth noticing it again. I'm wherever the accurate information is. Leon coughed from inside the demonstration bay. It sounded suspiciously like a laugh swallowed wrong. Cole placed the sales sheet face down. "We'll revisit the language. Marcy, what matters is that we're prepared to support your growers with a scalable package, and Hazel Ridge has generously agreed to let us use their operating data to illustrate the economics." Simone's fingers stopped on the brass clasp of her portfolio. Marcy said, "That data would be useful. Our Western group will want the raw comparison." "Absolutely," Cole said. "We can arrange access." Simone turned to him. "Access to what?" "The performance logs, sanitized as needed. You don't have authority to distribute our logs." "I'm talking about a controlled review. You're talking about it with the person you intend to give it to." Marcy put her pen down. "I didn't mean to step into a confidentiality issue." "You didn't," Simone said. "Cole did. The air in the booth changed. Trade shows have their own weather. Interest is warm. Embarrassment travels cold." Cole leaned forward, lowering his voice. "Simone, I'm trying to create value from the partnership we've both invested in. And I'm trying to understand who is managing this exhibit." "I am." She glanced at my badge. "Then why did Dana approve the demonstration protocol?" "Our internal staffing changed. Our agreement didn't." Cole held her gaze. He had negotiated million-dollar distribution renewals. He knew how to let silence pressure the other person. Simone knew how to let it pressure him back. Finally, he said, "Dana can retrieve any supporting document you need." It was almost elegant. He had removed me, misrepresented the trial, offered confidential records, and still found a way to send me for the binder. Simone opened her portfolio instead. I brought my copy. Her thumbnail slipped beneath a tab marked Exhibit Operations. Cole's smile thinned. "Before we get buried in clauses, I'd like to finish the system overview." "We can do that after the live cycle," Marcy said. Leon looked at me through the demonstration wall. The live cycle was scheduled for 9:30. My watch read 9:27. Cole checked his own watch. "Perfect." Leon started up. Leon rested one hand on the pump housing. "Dana hasn't signed the release card." "I'm signing it." The card names her. "I'm the president of the company that built the equipment. And I'm the guy who gets sprayed if the line jumps." Marcy smiled despite herself. Cole did not. He walked into the bay, took the laminated card from its hook, and reached for the marker tied to the frame. "Where do I sign?" "You don't," I said. His hand froze. Simone had stopped turning pages. She was watching him now, not me. Cole came back out of the bay. "Dana, either do your temporary job or get off the floor." There it was, the choice he wanted everyone to see. Obey after being diminished, or refuse and become the difficult widow he had been describing in private. I stepped across the carpet. He looked satisfied for half a second. I entered the bay, crouched beside the recapture tank, and checked the pressure gauge. 28 pounds, correct. The blue water sat just below the fill mark. Correct. East return, secure. Center feed, secure. Then I reached the west hose. The green tape around its coupling had been sliced and wrapped back crooked. I looked at Leon. He gave the smallest shake of his head. At 6 that morning, the tape seam had faced upward. I had photographed it because the union electrician needed proof that our wet lines remained inside the approved floor channel. Now the seam faced the wall, and the hose curved beneath the grate at a sharper angle. Someone had moved it after inspection. "Who changed the west line?" I asked. Cole exhaled through his nose. "We are already 3 minutes late." "Who changed it?" A contract installer near the storage closet raised his hand halfway. Mr. Sutton asked us to clean up the sight line. Cole said, "It was bulging into the viewing area. It was clearing the electrical channel. It still clears it." I pressed 2 fingers to the hose. The coupling shifted. Leon stepped closer. "That's not seated." Cole glanced toward Marcy. "Then seat it." "If I start the pump like this," I said, "the return line can separate under pressure. Can or will. Does the distinction improve your suit?" Marcy covered her mouth with one hand. Simone looked down, but I saw the corner of her smile. Cole's face hardened. I shut the isolation valve, loosened the coupling, and guided the hose back through its original route. The green tape mark on the grate showed exactly where it belonged. Leon held the fitting steady while I reseated it. Our hands worked together from habit. Turn, brace, test, wipe. "How long?" Cole asked. 90 seconds. "You have 60. I looked up at him. "You can have safe, or you can have 60. He turned away before the others could see that land. I replaced the sliced tape with a clean strip and wrote my initials across the seam. DS. The ordinary little ritual steadied me more than it should have. When I stood, Simone was holding the agreement open. "Ready?" Leon asked. I checked the gauge again and initialed the release card. "Ready." The pump came alive with a low hum. Blue water climbed the feed line, spilled into the demonstration gutter, and traveled in a bright ribbon beneath the root trays. Marcy moved closer to the glass. The return stream gathered cleanly, passed through the filter housing, and poured back into the tank. Cole began narrating. "Our closed-loop design recovers." 84% in this configuration, I said. He looked at me. I continued. Hazel Ridge's 92% trial used a modified seal package and a crop-specific timing cycle. We're testing that configuration for broader release, but it isn't our standard package yet. Marcy nodded. That's the answer I needed. Simone turned the agreement so Cole could see the page. A block of text had been highlighted in yellow. Beneath it were 4 signatures: hers, Warren's, the trade show representative's, and mine. She tapped my name. "This says Dana is the Joint Exhibit Operations Representative," she said. "It also says changes to the demonstration, floor plan, performance claims, or use of Hazel Ridge data require her written approval." Cole read the paragraph once, then again. His eyes moved to the gray ribbon hanging from my badge. "When was this executed?" he asked. "November," Simone said. "Before the restructuring." "Yes." I wasn't included. Dana was. The pump hummed behind us. Blue water circled through the system I had built, following the route Cole had tried to change. Simone closed the contract softly. "So," she said, "would you like to explain why you ordered the person responsible for this booth away from it?" Cole kept one hand on the back of his chair. He looked at Simone, then at Marcy, then at the contract. His face settled into the smooth, attentive expression he used when a customer had discovered a problem he could not deny. "I made a personnel decision based on information that wasn't available to me." "The agreement was available to you," I said. His eyes flicked toward me. "I'm speaking with Simone." "And I'm speaking with both of you," Simone said. "Dana stays in the booth. Any change goes through her." Cole's thumb pressed hard into the chair. "Understood." Marcy slid the glossy performance sheet back across the table. "And I'd like a corrected version of this before we continue discussing a national rollout." "You'll have it this afternoon," he said. "I'll review it," I said. He lifted the gray ribbon from my badge. The adhesive caught on the plastic sleeve, and for a moment he had to pick at the corner with his thumbnail. The small struggle felt more intimate than the insult. When he finally pulled it free, he folded it once and slipped it into his pocket. My green ribbon was still lying on the meeting table where he had dropped it. Simone handed it to me. "Can this be reattached?" she asked. "Yes," Cole said. "We'll get you a new badge." "This one works." I fastened the ribbon beneath my name. The torn adhesive left it hanging slightly crooked. Marcy stood and buttoned her jacket. "Let's reconvene at 2. I'd rather see the technical limits than another polished percentage." "That's exactly what we'll show you," Cole said. She smiled at me. "I believe it." When she left, Cole waited until she was beyond the aisle before turning on me. "You could have prevented that. So could you. You let me walk into a contract clause. I told you my title existed here. You gave me a smart answer while kneeling beside a tank. You were standing over me. It seemed like the right height for it." Leon busied himself with the filter housing. His shoulders moved once. Cole pointed at him. "Give us the booth." Leon straightened. "I have to watch the cycle." "I'll watch it." "I'm sure you will." "Leon." I touched Leon's sleeve. "Stay close." He left through the storage opening and took up a position across the aisle with a cup of coffee he had already forgotten to drink. Simone remained at the meeting table. Cole noticed. "This is an internal discussion." "It became my discussion when you offered our records and changed our exhibit. I corrected both issues. You stopped after being corrected." Cole picked up the sales sheet and aligned its corners with the table. "I'm trying to bring discipline to a company that has operated on handshakes and personal favors for 30 years. Dana's approach works because Dana is in the middle of everything. That isn't scalable." It was the most honest thing he had said all morning. Simone looked at me. "Is that true?" "In part." Cole seemed almost offended that I had agreed. I took the sheet from him and circled the 92% figure. "This has to become a range, 78 to 86 for the standard package, depending on crop and operating schedule. The Hazel Ridge result can be a separate case study after Simone approves the language. A range looks weak. A false number becomes weak the first time a grower misses it. I know how performance claims work. You know how sales claims work." "And there it is," he said softly. "The implication that everyone who isn't you cares less about whether the equipment works. I opened my mouth, then closed it. He was right enough to make the accusation hurt. Cole had spent 11 years building our distributor network. He could remember the margin on a replacement motor sold in 2019 and the name of the purchasing manager who approved it. He had also spent those years watching customers call me when the thing he sold met the thing they actually needed. I uncapped a pen. "I'll have revised language by noon. No, you'll give me the technical parameters. I'll write the language." Simone has to approve it. Simone can approve what I send. Simone slid her portfolio strap over her shoulder. Dana sends it. Cole stared at the tabletop until she walked away. Then he said, "You enjoy this? My badge still has your fingerprint on it. You signed a transition roll. I didn't sign away my name." He picked up the demonstration schedule. "You'll manage this booth exactly as required by the agreement. Nothing more. That's what I've been doing. No side conversations with distributors, no pricing discussions, no promises involving Sutton resources, technical questions only. You're trying to make me smaller than the clause that just embarrassed you. I'm defining authority. You wanted clear lines." He drew a box around my name on the schedule and walked away carrying every copy except the one clipped beside the bay. At 11:40, Warren arrived wearing a navy blazer over the same check shirt he wore to supplier lunches. Retirement had lasted 23 days before he found a reason to attend the show. He stopped at the edge of the booth and looked at my crooked green ribbon. "I hear we had weather," he said. "Brief storm." "Cole call you?" He's 20 feet away. Cole was entertaining 2 Canadian growers near the motor display. He saw his father and turned smoothly, finishing a story before coming over. "Dad thought you weren't coming until tomorrow." "I got bored. You got worried." Also true. Warren hugged his son, then me. He smelled like cedar shavings and the peppermint candies he kept in his car. Cole said, "Everything is handled." That's usually what people say right before they tell me what happened. I handed Warren the glossy sheet. He read the claim, looked at Cole, and rubbed the bridge of his nose. 92? "The number is real," Cole said. "So is 112 miles an hour. Doesn't mean my truck can do it. We're revising the language." "Dana?" "By noon." Warren gave the sheet back. "Good." Cole's jaw shifted. "Could you try not to look relieved every time she fixes something?" "I looked relieved when you closed Fenmore Distribution. That was 4 years ago." Still relieved. Warren meant it as kindness, but Cole heard the accounting underneath. Dana fixes. Cole sells. Each compliment created a ledger neither brother had agreed to keep while Mark was alive. Cole straightened the cuff of his jacket. "Dana and I are clarifying responsibilities." Warren looked at me. I said, "He labeled me TEMP and removed me from the booth." Warren's eyes closed for one slow second. "It was an internal designation," Cole said. "On a badge?" "The contract issue has been resolved." "On her badge, Cole?" "I removed it." Warren lowered his voice. "Your brother helped design the first curtain we ever brought to this show. Dana stood beside him explaining why it jammed every 6 cycles. She's earned better than that." Cole's face changed at the mention of Mark. Not softer, younger. "And I've earned the chance to run this company without every decision being compared to him." I didn't mention a decision. "You didn't have to." A group of attendees slowed near the booth entrance. Cole noticed them and smiled automatically. "Excuse me," he said. "Some of us are working." Warren watched him walk away. "That went well," he murmured. "You came loaded." "I came worried." "You came as his father in the middle of his trade show." "He made me his father when he put that thing on your badge." I adjusted the crooked ribbon. "You asked me to give him a fair start." I did. "I need you to stop making me the good daughter when he's in the room." His eyebrows rose. "Every time you defend me with Mark, Cole hears that the company chose the wrong brother." "Mark never wanted the presidency." "I know that. Cole doesn't feel it." Warren studied his shoes. "You want me to leave?" "I want you to be a retired founder who came to see the equipment." "That sounds terrible." "It probably comes with lunch." At noon, I rewrote the claims sheet at a folding table behind the booth, while sales conversations rose and fell around me. I gave Cole clean language, cited the trial conditions, and attached Simone's approval. He read it without comment. At 2, he handed Marcy a different version. He'd kept my range but changed achieved during a controlled Hazel Ridge trial to validated in commercial operation. It was only 4 words. Each one widened the claim. Marcy read the page while Cole described distributor support. I waited until he paused. That version wasn't approved. Cole's smile held. The figures are unchanged. The claim isn't. Simone reached for the sheet. This isn't what I approved. Cole looked genuinely weary. Validated means the equipment operated in a commercial facility. It did. Under trial conditions, I said, we're now litigating adjectives. We're protecting verbs. Simone said, you can't say the package does what one modified installation did. Marcy put the paper down again. Cole inhaled slowly. Fine. Dana, print your version. The printer is in the service hall. Then go. I held his gaze a moment longer than necessary, took the approved file on a flash drive, and left the booth. The service hall was crowded with people hunting shipping labels and extension cords. By the time I returned, the 2 o'clock session had become a general discussion. My chair was gone. Cole had moved the table 6 feet closer to the aisle and added 3 buyers who weren't on the approved schedule. I handed Marcy the corrected sheet. Thank you, she said. This is clearer. Cole continued talking as if the interruption belonged to him. Afterward, he caught me behind the storage curtain. You made the correction sound like misconduct. You changed approved language to strengthen it. After Simone approved something else, you're treating a wording disagreement like a mechanical failure. They start the same way. Someone decides a small limit is inconvenient. He stepped closer. You are enjoying being indispensable for one last show. The words landed because I had asked myself the same thing in meaner language. I wound the loose end of green tape around my finger. I enjoy being useful. You enjoy being the person who says no. Sometimes no is useful. To you. He took an envelope from the shelf and handed it to me. Inside was a revised compensation notice. The show performance bonus, nearly $8,000, now required compliance with assigned sales support duties. He had checked a box marked pending review. You're holding my bonus? I'm documenting a concern. For correcting your claims. For repeatedly exceeding the technical scope of your transition role. The booth contract assigns me operations. The contract doesn't assign Sutton compensation. He was right. The exhibition agreement could put me back on the carpet. It could not make him respect my work once I stood there. What do you want? I asked. I want you to stop turning every disagreement into a test of character. You put TEMP on my chest, and you made sure my biggest prospects watched you peel it off. You peeled it off. He gave me a long, tired look. Submit your technical notes. Run the scheduled demonstrations. Let me handle the company. I folded the notice along its existing crease. I won't sign a false claim for $8,000. I didn't ask you to. You're charging me for refusing one. Then appeal it after the show. He left before I could answer. That evening, Leon and I shut down the pump, drained the blue water, and checked every coupling. The show floor emptied in layers. First the buyers, then the polished executives, then the sales staff carrying drinks toward hotel bars. Finally, there were only crews, vacuum cleaners, and the echo of tools hitting concrete. Leon held up the west hose. Want me to lock this in storage? It stays installed. Cole asked the contractor about rerouting it again. When? While you were printing. I crouched beside the grate. The green tape across the coupling was intact, my initials unbroken. Did you hear what he said? He wants the hose hidden before tomorrow's media demo. The camera angle? Apparently blue water is photogenic now. The hose isn't. I took out my phone and photographed the coupling, the floor channel, the gauge, and the release card. Then I emailed the images to Cole, Leon, Simone, and the trade show safety coordinator with a note that the approved configuration was set for morning. Leon whistled. He'll love being copied. He likes clear lines. We lowered the grate. As I stood, I saw a new schedule clipped beside the bay. Tomorrow's media demonstration had been moved from 10:30 to 9:15. My name had been removed. In its place, beneath Cole Sutton, presenter, someone had written in black marker, "Technical support as needed." I took a picture of the schedule. Leon leaned over my shoulder. "Technical support is needed. That's warm." Practically a hug. "You gonna call him?" "He's 20 floors above us pretending dinner is a strategy session. He invited me. Why aren't you there?" Because the last time I ate a steak with Cole, he explained labor utilization while I was chewing. I unclipped the schedule and turned it over. On the back, in the bottom corner, was the timestamp from the show office printer. 4:38 p.m. Cole had changed it after my email documenting the approved configuration. I clipped it back exactly where I found it. "Be here at 8, I said. I was planning on 7. Be here at 7. The next morning, Cole was already in the booth when I arrived at 7:12. He wore another charcoal suit, this one with a narrow green tie that nearly matched the Hazel Ridge logo. A camera crew was unpacking cases near the aisle. 2 additional light stands crowded the west side of the demonstration bay. The floor grate was open. I set down my bag. "Where's Leon?" Cole checked his watch. "Good morning to you, too." "Where's Leon?" "Getting a replacement clamp." The west hose had been pulled out of the marked channel and routed behind a light stand. The tape seal I had initialed was gone. A fresh green strip wrapped the coupling. Blank. I crouched and touched it. One edge was damp. "Who moved this?" "The media team needed a clear shot." "Who moved it?" "The same contractor who adjusted it yesterday, after I documented that it couldn't be moved. You documented your preference. I copied the safety coordinator, and she replied that the floor route was approved. This route stays on our carpet and clears the electrical channel. It crosses the light cable. The cable is jacketed. I looked through the demonstration wall. The camera operator had already taped his power line across the floor with black gaffer tape. Our blue water return hose rested directly on top of it. "Shut down the setup," I said. Cole smiled toward the camera crew as if I had complimented his tie. "The show opens in 48 minutes. The clamp isn't seated and the hose is on an electrical line. That's why Leon is replacing the clamp. Then why is the pump powered?" The red indicator on the control box glowed. His eyes moved to it. "No one is running the pump. It shouldn't be live." He lowered his voice. "I'm not doing this with you again. Then stop doing the same thing." The contractor who had moved the hose appeared from behind the booth, carrying a toolbox. His name was Dale. I remembered it from his vest. "Did you pressure test after the reroute?" I asked. Dale looked at Cole. I said, "I'm asking the person who touched it." "No, ma'am. Mr. Sutton said your field guy was coming." "Did he tell you the line carries 28 pounds? "He said it was a drain." Cole cut in. I said return. "You said drain line," Dale replied. "That's why I used the fitting that was here." The fitting that was here was meant for the tank's gravity drain. Its ridges were narrower than the pressure line coupling. I reached for the control box. Cole put his hand over the switch. "The media group is producing the national show recap. We have 4 minutes with them." "You have the wrong fitting." "Leon is bringing the right clamp." "A clamp won't change the fitting." "I understand fittings, Dana." "Then why is that one installed?" The camera operator glanced over. He had heard enough to begin coiling his loose cable. Cole saw him. "We're making a minor adjustment, 2 minutes." "Power it down," I said. "I'm president of Sutton Shade Systems, and this is a Sutton demonstration. It's a shared demonstration under a signed protocol." His hand stayed over the switch. I pulled out my phone and called Leon. Voicemail. Cole's mouth twisted. "You think calling your witness makes you more correct?" "I think finding the right coupling makes us less wet." A woman from the media crew came over. If this isn't ready, we can grab the vent wall booth first and circle back. It's ready, Cole said. It isn't, I said. She looked between us and began backing away. We'll circle back. Cole watched 4 minutes of national coverage roll toward another aisle. Then he switched off the control box. Congratulations, he said. You won. I removed the hose from the fitting. This isn't what winning looks like. Leon arrived 8 minutes later, sweaty and angry, holding a stainless coupling in one hand. Somebody took the spare out of our field case. Cole pointed at the hose. Fix it. Leon looked at the gravity fitting, then at me. Who installed that? Dale, I said. He was told it was a drain. Cole's voice sharpened. He misunderstood. Dale was still within earshot. I understood what you said, he replied. Cole turned. You can go. I need Mr. Price to sign my labor slip. I said go. Leon took the slip, signed it, and handed it back. Thanks, Dale. Dale left without looking at Cole. We fitted the correct coupling, moved the camera cable, returned the hose to the green floor marks, and ran a low-pressure test. Everything held. By 9, the booth was crowded. Cole had recovered his charm. He greeted the media crew when they returned, joked about the glamorous world of water recapture gutters, and introduced me as our technical lead for this exhibit. The green ribbon on my badge hung crooked beneath my name. He didn't touch it. I signed the release card and stepped out of the bay. The camera operator took his position. Cole stood beside the clear wall with one hand resting on the control box. Commercial growers lose thousands of gallons every day to systems designed for a cheaper era, he said into the camera. At Sutton Shade Systems, we believe efficiency has to be visible. That line was his. It was good. He switched on the pump. Blue water climbed the feed line, passed through the gutter, and gathered beneath the root trays. The camera moved in close. For 10 seconds, the system ran cleanly. Then the west hose bucked. Leon heard it before I did. Kill it. Cole kept speaking. The coupling jumped once, hard enough to strike the grate. Cole, kill the pump. He turned toward the noise. In that second, the hose tore free. Blue water hit the demonstration wall, bounced off the grate, and shot sideways across the carpet. The camera operator stumbled backward. Leon reached the switch, but Cole was between him and the box. I hit the emergency shutoff mounted outside the bay. The pump died. Water continued draining from the elevated gutter, pouring through the open grate and spreading toward the neighboring booth. Cables! I yelled. The camera crew lifted their lines. Leon shoved absorbent socks beneath the wall. I grabbed 2 from the spill kit and dropped to my knees at the aisle edge. Blue water soaked through my slacks. The neighboring exhibitor's power strip sat beneath a product shelf 6 feet away. A show electrician reached it before the water did and pulled the plug. Overhead lights on both booths snapped off. The aisle filled with voices. Cole stood inside the bay, his green tie spattered blue. For one strange moment, he looked like Mark after a field failure, startled, furious, already counting what the mistake would cost. Then he pointed at me. You approved that line. I sat back on my heels. Leon stopped dragging an absorbent sock. The camera was still recording. I approved the configuration we tested, I said. This is the configuration. No, the hose was moved, the fitting was changed, and my seal was removed. You replaced the coupling this morning, after your contractor installed the wrong one, and you signed the release, after we corrected it. Then your correction failed. Leon stood. The coupling didn't fail. Cole turned on him. It's lying on the floor. The hose split behind it. He picked up the loose end and held it toward the light coming from the aisle. A clean 2-inch slice ran along the sidewall where the hose had rested against the metal edge of the light stand. It was pinched during the reroute, Leon said. Cole looked at the cut. The trade show safety coordinator pushed through the crowd wearing an orange vest and a radio. Everyone out of the bay, now. Her name was Priya Shah. I had copied her on the photographs the night before. She recognized me, then looked down at the blue water soaking my knees. Was this the approved route? The hose had been returned to it, I said, after being moved this morning. Who authorized the move? Cole stepped out of the bay. I did, based on the media footprint. Priya's gaze shifted to him. The footprint submitted yesterday? No. They adjusted their lights. And you adjusted a pressurized wet line without submitting a floor change? It remained within our booth. Your water didn't. She closed the aisle and summoned an electrical inspection team. The neighboring exhibitor lost 40 minutes of demonstrations while their equipment was checked. Cole paid for a replacement display controller that had been splashed. The camera crew took its footage to the other side of the building. At 10:30, Priya sat us around the meeting table with the booth agreement, my email, my photographs, the altered schedule, and both versions of the hose. The first photograph showed my initials intact at 6:17 the previous evening. The second, time-stamped 7:14 that morning, showed the blank replacement tape and the gravity fitting. Leon explained the correction. Dale returned and repeated what Cole had told him. Cole listened without interrupting. When Priya finished taking notes, he said, "What do you need from us to reopen?" It was the right question. He asked it calmly. "A written corrective plan," she said. "One designated operations representative. No physical changes without that person's approval. Electrical review before every wet demonstration. Done." She looked at the contract. "The designated representative is already named." Cole's eyes moved to me. "Dana," he said, "can you prepare the plan?" "I can." "By noon?" "Yes." He nodded once. "Thank you." It was the first time he had thanked me since the show began. He made it sound like an invoice. When Priya left, he gathered the documents into a stack. "The camera caught everything," Leon said. Cole's hand paused. "The camera footage is not ours. Neither is the water in the aisle," I said. He faced me. "My office, Monday morning." "Which one?" "You know which one?" "Mark's?" The word came out before I decided to use it. Cole flinched. "My office," he repeated. "We'll discuss whether there's any role for you after the transition period." Leon started to speak. I stopped him with a look. Cole picked up the cut hose and carried it behind the storage curtain. I followed him. He set it on a shipping case. "What?" "I'm not waiting until Monday. This is neither the time nor the place. You chose both when you put TEMP on me." His face went still. I laid the pending bonus notice beside the hose. "I'll finish the show under the authority in the booth agreement. I'll prepare the corrective plan, approve the claims, and run the scheduled demonstrations. In return, you release the compensation I already earned and confirm the commissions on Hazel Ridge. You don't get to negotiate with me over a safety incident. I'm negotiating over the work you still need." There. That's what I've been trying to explain to everyone. You turn competence into leverage. Competence is leverage. To people who think they're bigger than the company. I'm soaked to the skin because you moved a hose for a prettier picture. His gaze dropped to my wet slacks, then moved away. For a second, shame crossed his face. Then calculation covered it. "You'll get the transition compensation required by your agreement," he said. "The show bonus remains under review. Hazel Ridge commissions depend on whether Hazel Ridge closes. And my authority through the final distributor demonstration. Limited to operations. Claims are operations under the booth contract. Technical claims. I control the meeting. Simone controls her data. And Marcy controls whether any of this matters." He folded the bonus notice and held it out to me. "Take the deal you signed." I didn't take the paper. "Then you don't have an operations representative. You're threatening to abandon the booth? I'm giving you a boundary, accurate claims, documented changes, earned compensation. And if I say no, then find somebody else whose name is in the agreement." He looked through the curtain toward Simone, who stood at the darkened bay with Priya's inspection team. "You planned this," he said. "No, you just keep creating moments I'm prepared for." His fingers tightened around the notice. "Finish today," he said. "We'll settle the money tonight. In writing." His laugh had no humor in it. "Of course." I stepped back through the curtain. Simone handed me a towel from the hospitality cabinet. "You all right?" she asked. "I'm blue." "It's a strong color." I wiped my hands. "Did Hazel Ridge lose any equipment?" "No." "Confidence?" She considered that. "In the gutter?" "No." "And in Sutton?" "That depends which Sutton you mean." I looked across the booth. Cole was already speaking to Priya, asking precise questions about inspection timing. He had taken off the stained tie. Without it, he looked less like a president and more like the man who used to drive overnight to rescue a delayed shipment because he couldn't stand disappointing a customer. "He can do this job," I said. "Yes, he just can't do it while I'm visible." Simone folded the towel once and handed it back. "Then stop measuring your future by what he can tolerate seeing." At 4:45, Priya reopened the demonstration bay under my corrective plan. At 5, Cole emailed me a one-page agreement restoring the show bonus if I completed all remaining duties without further public disruption. I read the phrase twice. Then I forwarded it to Simone and Leon with the morning photographs, both claims sheets, the altered schedule, and Priya's corrective plan attached. I replied to Cole with 3 words: "Revise the condition." His answer arrived a minute later: "Sign or decline." Across the booth, he watched me read it. I took the gray TEMP ribbon he had folded and left on the meeting table after emptying his pockets to change ties. I smoothed it beside my green roll of tape, photographed both, and placed the unsigned agreement on top. Then I opened the schedule for the final morning. Marcy Keene's National Distributor Group had been moved to 9 o'clock. My name was gone again. I wrote my name back in, not over Cole's, beneath it. Dana Sutton, Exhibit Operations and Claims Approval. Then I photographed the schedule and emailed it to Cole, Simone, Marcy, Leon, and Priya, with the corrective plan attached. Cole read the message across the booth. His phone was still in his hand when he walked toward me. "You don't edit a schedule I approved. I corrected a schedule that violates the agreement and Priya's plan. I told you I control the meeting. You do. Then remove your name." No. The show lights were dimming for the night. Vacuum crews moved through the aisles, gathering dropped brochures and paper coffee cups. Leon watched from the demonstration bay, one hand resting on the new West hose. Cole lowered his voice. "If you force this in front of Marcy tomorrow, you will lose any chance of staying with Sutton. That chance has been shrinking since you started calling me temporary. I offered you a transition path. You offered me 72 more days and a bonus you could take away for embarrassing you. I offered to pay it. If I promise not to cause a public disruption, define disruption, you know what it means. Yes, it means correcting you where people can hear." His face tightened. "Remove your name." No. He looked past me at Simone, who was packing Hazel Ridge's product samples into padded cases. "You've made your decision," he said. "So have you." I left the unsigned bonus agreement on the table and helped Leon drain the system. Warren was waiting beside the freight elevator when we finished. He held 2 peppermint candies in his open palm. "Peace offering," he said. "From you or Cole?" "Me." "Cole doesn't know where I buy them." I took one and unwrapped it. Warren watched Leon roll the field case toward the loading corridor. "He says you threatened to walk away from the booth." I told him the conditions under which I'd stay. "That sounds similar if you're the one staring at an empty booth." "He isn't staring at one. I finished today." "And tomorrow?" "I'll be here if my authority is recognized, and my compensation isn't tied to my silence." Warren put the other candy in his mouth. The wrapper crackled in his fist. "I should have fixed your position before I left." "Yes." He blinked at the answer. "You were expecting me to rescue you from that sentence?" "A little." "You asked me to trust family paperwork. There was barely any paperwork, and what existed protected the company. I trusted Cole to do right by you. You trusted me to absorb it if he didn't." He leaned against the wall. Somewhere below us, a freight door slammed. Warren looked tired in a way retirement had not cured. "Mark was good at absorbing things," he said. "I know." Until he wasn't. I turned the peppermint between my teeth. Warren rubbed his thumb over a scratch on the elevator call button. Cole thinks I gave his brother all the soft parts of me and left him the company. Did you? No. I gave Mark patience because he asked questions. I gave Cole responsibility because he never seemed afraid of it. He gave a dry little laugh. Parents can turn admiration into damage if they're efficient enough. Cole's damage doesn't get to become my job. I know. The elevator arrived with a metallic shutter. Warren held the door but didn't step inside. Are you leaving Sutton? I think Cole already answered that. I'm asking you. Yes. The word hurt less once it was outside me. Warren nodded. His eyes went wet, but his voice remained steady. Then leave clean. Make him pay what he owes you. I intend to. Good. He let the elevator door close between us. At 8:40 the next morning, Marcy arrived with 7 members of her national group. They filled the meeting table and spilled into the aisle. Priya stood beside the control box for the required electrical review. Simone placed her leather portfolio in front of her chair. My name remained on the schedule. Cole had not removed it. He also had not restored the bonus. He greeted every buyer personally, remembered which regions they represented, and made an easy joke about our newly expanded spill kit. The camera crew had left the Blue Water accident out of the show recap, but news traveled faster than edited video. Cole took the embarrassment into his own hands before anyone could use it against him. It was smart. When the group settled, he stood at the head of the table. Yesterday gave us an opportunity to improve both the physical installation and the way we describe performance, he said. This morning, you'll see the corrected configuration operating under the conditions Dana documented. He gestured toward the bay without looking at me. Marcy said, "And the commercial claims?" "I'll address those after the demonstration." Simone opened her portfolio. Cole saw it. The authorized range is in your packets. The buyers turned pages. My language appeared exactly as written, 78 to 86% for the standard package, with Hazel Ridge's 92% result separated and clearly labeled as a controlled trial, using modified seals and crop-specific timing. I looked at Cole. He had learned one lesson. Then he said, "We expect the standard package to reach the upper end consistently once our next generation seal enters production this quarter." I felt Simone's attention shift toward me. The next generation seal had passed bench testing. It had not completed a full crop cycle, and no release date had been approved. Marcy looked up. "This quarter?" "That is our production target." I said, "It's a development target." Cole kept his eyes on Marcy. "Our technical team tends to be conservative. Our failure rate after mineral exposure is still above release tolerance." One of the regional managers glanced between us. "So should we quote the new seal or not?" "Not yet," I said. Cole put both hands on the table. "We can begin identifying suitable projects. After validation." Dana. One word, a warning disguised as my name. Simone pulled the booth agreement from her portfolio and opened it to the yellow tab. Cole's shoulders dropped a fraction. "I would like the Hazel Ridge demonstration to proceed," she said. "Under the agreement we signed." "It will?" "With the representative named here approving the claims. The claim relates to Sutton's development pipeline. You're making it in our shared booth immediately before demonstrating our trial." Marcy closed her packet. "Cole, I need to know whose answer becomes the answer after we leave." "Mine," he said. Mine came at the same moment. "Dana's," Simone said. The group went quiet. Cole looked at me. There was anger in his face, but something else had joined it. Recognition, perhaps. He finally understood that I wasn't trying to take his company. I was refusing to lend him my credibility while he removed my authority. He said, "Step outside with me." Simone rested her hand on the open contract. "If Dana leaves the booth, Hazel Ridge suspends the demonstration." Cole turned to her. "You would cancel this meeting over one sentence?" "I would protect my company from an unsupported one." Priya spoke from beside the control box. I also need the designated operations representative present to run the wet system. Cole's gaze moved around the table. 7 buyers waited for him to choose. He could remove me and lose the demonstration, or accept the narrow authority he had spent 3 days trying to erase. He straightened. "The next generation seal remains under validation," he said. "We will not quote or schedule it until technical approval is complete." Marcy nodded. "Thank you." Cole looked at me. "Dana, please run the demonstration." I entered the bay. The green tape seals were intact. I checked each coupling, the isolation valve, the filter housing, and the pressure gauge. Priya signed her inspection line. Leon gave me a thumbs up through the clear wall. I initialed the release card. Blue water rose through the feed line. This time Cole described only what the buyers could see. He explained the standard system clearly, answered pricing questions without stretching the specifications, and handed technical questions to me before they became traps. I marked the correct flush interval with a strip of green tape on the controller and showed how mineral buildup changed return pressure. The west hose stayed in its channel. The seals held. When the cycle ended, Marcy remained beside the tank. "This is sellable," she said. Cole smiled. "That's the goal. It's sellable because I know which number belongs to which system." She tucked the corrected packet into her folder. "I want the technical review built into our distributor agreement. Published performance claims, release status, configuration limits. Someone besides sales signs off." Cole's smile faded, then returned in a smaller form. "We can structure that." Simone said Hazel Ridge would require the same review for any use of its name or operating data. Cole agreed. He had won the meeting he came to win. He had also accepted limits in front of the customers who would enforce them. After the group left, he picked up the unsigned bonus agreement. "My hotel has a business center," he said. 7 o'clock. Leon attends. "This is about your compensation. It's also about the work he'll inherit." Cole glanced toward the bay. "You've decided that too?" "I'm recommending it." "I decide." "Yes, you do." At 7, Cole arrived with a revised agreement. It removed the public disruption condition, restored my show bonus, confirmed the Hazel Ridge commissions, and paid me through a 12-week handover. In return, I would document the field application process, transfer active projects, and stop representing Sutton at the end of the term. He also offered me a permanent title, Vice President of Technical Accounts. I read the duties. The title was polished. The authority still depended on his approval. "No," I said. Leon looked at me. Cole did not. "What would make it a yes?" Cole asked. "Nothing now." He leaned back. "So this was always an exit?" "No, you made it one piece at a time." He turned his pen between his fingers. "I was trying to make the company bigger than one person." "You were right to." That surprised him. I slid the permanent offer back. "But you tried to standardize judgment before you built a process to replace it. Then you punished the people who showed you the gap." He looked at Leon. "You want her job?" "I want the authority that goes with the responsibility." Cole almost smiled. "She teach you that line?" "The hose did." Cole signed the handover agreement. He promoted Leon to field operations manager 3 weeks later. Technical claims required Leon's approval and a second review from whoever owned the customer data. Cole kept selling. He was still good at it. He became more careful about the distance between an attractive sentence and an accurate one. My consulting agreement with Hazel Ridge began after the handover. Simone introduced me to 2 other growers who needed someone on the owner's side of system commissioning. Sutton remained eligible to bid on their equipment. Cole and I learned to speak through scopes, schedules, and signed approvals. On my last afternoon at Sutton, he brought the gray TEMP ribbon to the loading bay. "I found this in my sample case," he said. "You folded it." "I remember." He handed it to me. "I shouldn't have put it on you." "No." "I thought you were using Mark's place here to keep yours." I held the ribbon by one corner. You erased me, Cole, not him. He looked toward the open bay door. I know that now. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was accurate. I dropped the ribbon into the trash and kept the green one. Months later, I stood inside a Hazel Ridge propagation house while warm condensation gathered above rows of basil. My new badge carried my own company's name. A recapture line waited beneath the bench, fitted, tested, and ready. I tore a strip from the same scarred roll of green tape, wrapped it across the coupling, and wrote my initials over the seam. Then I opened the valve.